Well, hey there folks, how you doing? Alright, so you saw the beautiful intro. We're doing the extra walkers from the Dead West box, or the Kickstarter exclusives. And we started off with a black primer on all these miniatures, and I decided to use a whole bunch of color triads, starting off with the charred bone, skeleton bone, and bleach bone. And you can see how they come out very differently. And then I went with a pestilent flesh and a zombie flesh, and then a kind of skin tone one where the elven flesh is like the mid tone and all that. And we're going to get through these by speed painting them all. Now this is going to be a longer video because guess what? I'm painting, what is it, 11 different miniatures, because there's 15 in total, but 4 of them have 2 of the same sculpts, which in my opinion is a little lazy on Simon's part there. I mean, I know they want to give 15 extra little walkers that, by the way, all have special abilities, and they each one, when it comes out on the table, you can use them as regular walkers so that you don't run out from the base game. But if you are using these ones, they actually have special abilities, each one, when they're in a space. I'm not going to go through all that. You can probably find that online. I think the rules are even available on Reddit or something like that. You can download those if you're interested. But what I'm doing is I had, like I said, 3 color triads, and because I wanted to see, some people have said that the color triads through the airbrush is not that great, and you know, it depends. Like, so if you look at these situations here, I started off always with like the base one, and then went on to the mid, and then the high range. And I find that what I did, instead of doing just like full coverage and then 45-degree angle and then the top one, when I got to the final highlight one, I just got the skin, and if it went over and hit some of the clothing, it just made it a little bit lighter on those areas. Now I know it sped through pretty quickly at the beginning for which ones did what, so hopefully you saw what they did. But as you're going to see them as I'm painting them here, using different speed paints on the different miniatures as well as on different color schemes, you'll see that it does actually do something different every time. And you can see, of course, my favorite first one was the bony matter that I used on all the skin, but I just showed you guys 3 of those because I didn't want to go through every miniature of what skin to paint on each one. You can pretty much figure it out, or you'll see it as we paint along here too. Now for the rest of the colors, what I'm going to do is I'm pretty much trying to follow as much as possible the artwork, and I'm going to use one color on many zombies. So this is called batch painting for you guys that don't notice, but these aren't really like an army of like ultramarines or space wolves and stuff like that. These guys are all different. Okay, so like I said, there's 11 different sculpts. So if I'm using hardened leather on this guy, I'm using it on his hat, his shirt, and his pants, but I might use it on something different on another miniature. And that's why I didn't want to speed it up too much, so this video is a bit longer. So, you know, just be patient, take a look, listen to my funny banter, as people have pointed out that it's actually fun to listen to me, and enjoy watching my videos while I paint. Now, I am impatiently waiting for the Warpaints fanatics to show up. I have ordered them through boutiquefdb.com, so you can also contact them if you're interested in the complete set. They can order it for you. It's not something they're going to have on hand because it is an expensive box, all right? It is not cheap. I was able to get my hands on it. They gave me a good price on it, but there'll be more about that once I actually get the box in my hands, hopefully soon. Yeah, so the reason I did this is that someone had mentioned in another video comment that I did, I think it was a Triad of Blues. They were saying that they were having trouble with the Triad colors, and they couldn't figure out how come sometimes it just didn't go on right. Well, I did the base coat, let them dry for a long time, came back in, did a sort of zenithal highlight with the mid-tone, and then with the highlight, what I did is I just sprayed on to the skin areas. So anywhere there was skin showing, I decided to make that area brighter. Now if it happened to hit some of the other areas, that was fine because it just makes it a little bit lighter there in effect. And what's cool is that all these paints, like especially like hardened leather, really go on looking differently on top of each color. And also there is like sometimes darker areas, sometimes lighter areas, and the speed paints really work in that. And I was tempted, like originally these were all in black, right? And I was going to actually zenithal highlight them all with just white and move along, but Speed paints with black is okay if you're doing a very heavy zenithal highlight. Like there's not much black left except for some recesses that you didn't get by doing those areas. Whereas whenever you do a base coat color like this, okay, so there is some spots where the black didn't get touched at all and it got a little bit darker in there, but at least some of the base coating got over these miniatures and covered up that black, so that at least it wasn't super dark in areas, especially on the skin areas. But even though I touched those really up with the lighter color, there shouldn't be anything that's really black that's left as an undercoat. Yeah, and it was fun using the airbrush on this. And by the way, I've got a new airbrush. I picked up the Harder and Steenbeck Ultra 2024, and that video of me testing that out is coming out soon, so keep an eye out for that, because man was I blown away by this airbrush. It made painting with an airbrush so much easier. It was just so much fun. Again, this video, I know it's longer, but you know, I'm having fun with these miniatures. These are from the Dead West box, like I mentioned before, so these are Kickstarter exclusives. There is 11 different sculpts. There's 4 of them that have the same sculpt, so it was kind of boring. But I mean, it was kind of fun because at least then I'm painting something different almost every time. And having that different undercoating or base coating already done with all the different colors is pretty interesting, because you can see here, look at, I'm using Runic Gray. Okay, this is a weird speed paint. I found it weird since day one. It's great to make look jeans on white, and it's good on the green color, but on the yellowish colors it's a little odd, and on the brownish color as well, because I find that it still sticks out a little too much. On this lighter one here, which is with, I think the I don't remember which one it was, I think it was the Feywild Glow or whatever, they seem to grab that Runic Gray a little bit more. Now as the Camo Cloak, that one goes on super well, covers up everything pretty much, but again gives, you know, whenever it's yellow or the lighter or the brownish one, I find it kind of like gives up a little bit more of a decaying vibe, which is really cool, because you know, you don't want these miniatures to look too normal. You want them to look like zombies, right? But I mean, the skin tone and all that stuff. And yeah, you could add a whole bunch of bloody, gory effects to them, which a lot of people do for zombies. I kept these guys clean, but what I did do with the bases to make them look a little different than the other walkers is just use some brown, I think it was brownish decay, which I found out, to me, it's been a while, is more green than brown. So, but it turns out making the base look swampy looking. You'll see that in the final pictures at the end there. And as you can see, even this bright red here covers up really well on the 3 different colors. I think I hit all 3 colors variations. Mostly just scarves, a shirt here. You know, just beautiful. I don't know. I just find that having a good underpainting and not just white, it makes your miniatures look a little bit more different. It also makes the painting a little bit more fun. Like, I actually sat down and enjoyed painting these miniatures just for the fact that they were different. They were all different, and I didn't do one video per miniature, because I think I would have been using, like you saw, like hardened leather or this satchel brown here and all that. I would use it like 15 different times on 15 different videos. It's like being too repetitive. And I know that most of my videos recently have been just speed paints, but I'm hoping you guys still enjoy watching those. And this channel is mostly Army Painter stuff. Actually, it's going to become almost just plainly that, because I got rid of a lot of the Citadel stuff. I kept the shades and some other things, but really Army Painter to me has become my go-to paints. I haven't really given any others a try. I've done Vallejo in the past, whatever, you know, they were good. I don't know if they're better now. I haven't tried AK Interactive. I have not tried Chimera. I have not tried Pro Acryl. You know, there's all these other paints out there, but I want to stay true to what I like and that I know and what works and how to work with them. So I am looking forward to giving you guys my honest opinion on the Warpaints Fanatic range, so keep an eye out for that video. It will be here on YouTube, it won't be on my Patreon. On my Patreon there's a couple other behind the scenes videos, there's a couple bonus content videos, so go take a look at that if you're interested and become a Patreon, or a patron I should say. So again, I hope you're enjoying these videos, people. Hit that like button, okay? And 80% of you who are watching right now are new to the channel, or are returning viewers but are not subscribed. 80%. Add that 80% to my 2400 And I'm getting close to that 5,000 mark that I would love to hit, because I've got something majorly, beautifully, or just a huge announcement once I hit 5,000. Okay, big giveaway gonna happen when I hit 5,000 subscribers. So if you're new to the channel, subscribe, share it with your friends, share it with your painting groups, share it to your channels, post it on Instagram, Twitter, or X, or whatever it's called now. Just, you know, getting this channel going out there and become probably one of the newest channels that, you know, anyone can paint and make it look great on the table, because a lot of people out there are intimidated by all the other painters. Like, I watch Squidmar, I watch Ninjon, I watch so many other painters, and they are amazing. And then you have other people that just slap chop, put paint on, and they get thousands of views, have tens of thousands of subscribers, but it's, I don't know, it's not truly teaching you how to paint, I don't know, with what you have. Like, what can you do differently? I try to make things always different, and even though I'm always going to be painting Marvel Zombies, it's just going to take me forever to paint, because I still maybe have another like 200 miniatures to paint in that stupid set, and I'm going to keep painting them on the channel and showing them all on there. But eventually what I want to do is actually do a video of prepping minis that are going to be sun dropped for possible eventually speed paints, and I want to show you guys how I'm going to do that. And anyways, that's going to come up, and I've got a whole bunch of plans for videos, so I hope you guys stick around and take a look at those. The teacher here was one of the coolest ones I saw as a model, but using the holy white on these colors was an interesting choice, because, you know, they had some spots that were like white shirts, white coats, and I figured the holy white was the one that has a little bit more gray than the blinding light. I could have put blinding light, but I actually wanted to cover up the base colors, because I found that they would have been a little too strong. And on top of the green, it's kind of funny, the holy white gives it a bluish hint instead of a grayish hint, which is kind of interesting. So you get to see how all these different paints react with different base coats, and it's really kind of fun, because some people just say, oh, I'm just going to spray paint them all white and then put speed paints. Well, I can tell you right now, that is great, but your miniature is going to be super bright. And when it comes to zombies, you want them to be dark and grimy, so having different colors, undertones. Now, would this have worked well with a light green or light blue? I don't know, but that's something I'm going to eventually test out as well with another color triads. I have some light blues, I have some light greens, I have some light reds or pinks even, and we could see how that comes out. I don't know if it'll be for zombies, but it might be for other miniature painting ideas out there, because I've been told that you can try a whole bunch of different underpainting techniques to get your sun drop ready and get ready to paint later on. So at least you can have something that's colorful on the table more than just what the box gives you. And I understand this is from the Dead West Stretch Goals box. Not everybody can have that. Only people who kickstarted it. I mean, unless you buy it through the roof prices on eBay or wherever else people are selling these things. But to be honest, the Undead or Alive stuff isn't selling very well online. I've noticed that it's not super popular. One, it is a hard game. I find this one is one of the harder Zombicides, because you can get overwhelmed very quickly with zombies. And if you don't play it well and you don't rush your guys around, anyways, pretty interesting. One of the cooler colors here I like on these colors is Mummified Grime. Now this guy's got a horse head on his head, all right, and it's dead horse. So I figured Mummified Grime would kind of give that horse this really dead look to it, and it does. And I also use it on some of the hair on some of the miniatures and have fun with that as well. And because they're yellowish, it comes out like a dirty blondish brown look, which is kind of cool. I find it does a good job. And then I use it on the boots of the mariachis, and I find it gives like a snake leather look, which is pretty cool. And of course the train manager here, he's having a lantern. That's why I use the fire giant orange in the fire area. I didn't do very much with it, like no OSL, a little bit of talus bronze just to cover up the rest of the lantern here. I mean, sometimes you can look at these miniatures and they look like they're regular folk, like from the game. You could use these as normal, but they still have that zombie feel to them. I find that they're like dragging themselves. They look all decrepit looking. And this is the final color I'm using, which is Broadsword Silver. It's not the brightest of the metallics in their speed paint range. Well, the silver range, anyways, there's only two, so. But I figured don't go too bright with this. We just want them to be, you know, grimy looking and dirty looking and stuff like that. So there's a few miniatures. Anyway, so let's take a look at the final products. Here you go. Here's all 15 of them, so you're going to see some of the duplicate ones showing up, but each one had a different base coat as well. So you'll see the mariachi had 2 different base coats, the soldier had 2 different base coats, the miner, and I believe the gunslinger were the 4 sculpts that were different. And as you can see, I told you the bases would be murky looking and all that. Anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you all in the next one.